Welcome to Satsang. A lot of people have been asking, well, I'm confused, or I don't know how to decide if I don't make a judgment, because we say, don't judge, see things clearly. And the point we're going to discover today is that the truth is the most obvious thing there is. But the reason we don't see it is because of the mechanics of the conditioned mind, which we use 95% of the time. So what is confusion? Confusion is simply choosing the mind instead of the heart. The mind will never give you the truth. Never. The heart, always, because the heart itself is truth. So let's explore. But first, maybe I should give you an example how simple the heart is. It is something that I use very often. Suppose you're depressed or you're feeling upset or whatever. If you take a deep breath and you stop and ask your heart, how would I prefer to feel instead of this? And the heart will say, I prefer to feel calmer, happier than upset, right? Isn't that simple? That's how obvious the heart is. But now let's see how difficult the mind gets. There are two lovers. They love each other immensely. It's a very hot number. And because of that too, what happens is that they quarrel a lot, they fight a lot. Now when they're quarreling and they're fighting, what is actually happening? They each want their own way, right? Because that is the nature of the mind. I have to be right at all costs, even at the cost of being happy. In fact, even the Course in Miracles says, would you rather be right or happy? Okay? But what they're really wanting is love. I want you to know that you love me. You see what I mean? That's why people quarrel. Did you know that? It's all insecurity of that love. And so they want to get their own way. They want to be in control. So first, let's discuss the mind and see, and try to make it simple instead of complex with too many levels. The mind itself is based on time. So it's past and future. It is never present. Never. Okay? The mind does not know how to deal with what is, because it judges it immediately. It says something what is, either I like it or I don't like it. Immediately you've become blind to what is. So that's what the mind does. So it works from the past and future. And it is always seeking three things. Always. Now these three things, of course, are the very nature of being, which is the heart. And they are termed as approval. The mind is always seeking approval. It's always seeking safety. And it's always seeking control. Now the way it does it in everyday life is this way. How does it seek approval? Very simple. I want to be loved. But if I'm sincere, if I'm honest, I'm not willing to love first. I want to make sure that I'm going to make a mistake or take advantage of me, right? Okay, so, but this is mind, and you probably, as you listen this, and those of you who are listening to this video probably say, this is how the mind works. It doesn't want to love unless it knows it's going to be loved. Okay, that's the need for approval. The need for safety. The need for safety is a very strong one. You want to feel secure. Do you know that the moment you want to be secure, even for a second, you're insecure at that moment? Isn't it automatic? Mm-hmm. Isn't it natural? Right. You see, so that insecurity creates all the kerfuffle, the mind's complexity, confusion. And then we have control. Control is a need to be right at all costs. But why do we want to be right at all costs? I'm talking about the mind, conditioned mind. I'm not talking about the universal mind now, okay? Just the individualized mind. Why does the mind want to be right?
To be okay.
To feel okay that I am. That's right. To justify. Good. Okay. So you will see how simple it all is. Okay? Now it's always working from past and future, because these needs are all needs that are coming from the past, okay, which we feel we didn't get in the first 6 years of our life maybe, and it goes into the future. How I'm hoping that I'm going to get this security, I'm going to get this safety. I want to make sure that I'm going to feel safe with this person, with this job, with this, with this, that. You see? But you might say, but shouldn't you be doing this? No, not really, if you follow your heart. Because if you follow your heart, did you know that the heart never makes a mistake? And that's quite something. But now what is important is to see what we mean by mind and what we mean by heart. When we talk about mind, again, because many people would say, well, what do you mean mind? Mind is a powerful thing. Mind is all-encompassing. Yes, it is true. Mind is beautiful, wonderful. You see, everything is created by mind. The world that we experience is all mind. But we're talking about the conditioned mind. The conditioned mind are the first 6, 7 years of your life. And they have made up the whole of your lifetime. And most people, unless they go to a very good therapist or a very good aware person, they never overcome that. They stay for the rest of their life in this particular mode of thinking and seeing. And now what is heart? Now, the heart goes from here to there, okay? So when you feel things from the heart, there is something that actually you feel in your chest, okay? But it is so subtle that if we were to talk about it and you try to feel it, we lose it. It feels good. Remember, last satsang we talked about guilt, okay? It is that subtle feeling like a pebble in your shoe, like an itch that you can scratch, never goes away, it's always there, that discomfort feeling. Okay, when it is the heart, there's no guilt. It feels right. You just know it feels good. Okay? So if I say, well, you know, when you feel good, because it feels right, you can say, well, I feel it here. You see? You know. Okay. Now, how do we start using the heart? You start using the heart very, very simply. Like I said before, how do I prefer? By simply seeing how the mind is seeking those three qualities. Why? Because the heart is so obvious that if you look for what is obvious, you'll miss it. That's how obvious it is. For example, right now I'm sitting down talking. Isn't that obvious? But yet to a lot of people it wouldn't be. You know, then they might see why your legs are open like this, or why is it so important that you talk in front of an iPad, or, you know what I mean? The mind is always conjuring instead of seeing something as it is. So the heart is very, very simple. But again, it's so simple because it is what is. Okay? For example, somebody might come to you and you're a teacher, spiritual teacher, you're an awakened teacher, and someone comes to you and says, oh my goodness, when these emotions come, they're so terrible and they're so strong and I can't get rid of them. And the teacher would look at the person because he's awakened and he says, why do you want to get rid of them? You see? The moment, this is where we have to look at what is obvious here. The moment you make a thought and you want to get rid of it, the moment you say, I don't want it, you are stuck because you made it real. But if you stop and look at the thought, it's just a thought. It's just a little cloud, you see? It's nothing, and there's nothing there. So if you look at what is obvious, you immediately get it. Now, I want to make this very, very simple and very direct, and I hope I've covered it enough, so that we start going into questions, because the one thing that I find people learn the most is when they ask a question and then it's explored in various ways. Okay? At the back I made a few, you know, like, why is emotional pain our biggest lesson? Okay, no, this one is a good one. Why are so many people so busy that they have no time to look at themselves? They are so busy in everyday life.
Well, they're so busy making themselves busy so that they don't have to stop so the present doesn't catch them, because it could blow the whole ball game.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Yeah.
And I don't think they know that they exist. Like they think they are the busyness.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they said they create. You see, people are always. There are some people that are always busy, always doing something. They have no time for anything, doing this, doing that. You know, no time to just sit, to maybe reflect, to look, whatever. But why do they create a very and yet they complain against it? Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I'm going crazy. I'm so busy. But then they cannot do without it. Because keeping yourself busy mentally is one of the greatest escapes and one of the greatest things that brings emotional maladies, you see. So I got some very interesting ones. Do you mind reading this?
Of course.
A little louder, yeah.
I've been watching your video on fear, where you claim that in order to get rid of fear, one should face it and experience it. I very much want to do that, but how? My greatest fear is that something should happen to my youngest son. To face and experience this fear, should I imagine what it would be like if he died or became the victim of an accident or an assault?
And thank you. And this is interesting, because many people have asked me that. When I say experience the fear, they made the fear so real that they think they have to go through what they visualize the fear to be. Okay, but then again, let's explore it. Okay,
What they're creating is they're creating another mental picture to deal with it, as opposed to experiencing the here-now reality of what fear really is, and taking away all the mentality and mental ideas about it, so they aren't experiencing it directly. As a matter of fact, they're working to create a story around the fear, which will take them away from experiencing it directly.
Yeah, and why do we need a story? Because the mind is always creating stories. Why do we create stories? Can I have some feedback? All of you?
I think it's to keep like a sense of self, right? The story is always about me, and then it keeps me here.
That's it. Yeah. The story is always about me. And if you validate my story, and then I feel justified that I exist, that I am what I think I am, even though I am miserable, yet I am so familiar in this misery that I don't know what to do if I'm not miserable, because I can't see what I could be like without this habitual mental concept.
So in this case, it has nothing to do with the child.
It has nothing to do with the child. The child is simply the insecurity of the father. Because you see, there's another thing, and that's very good that you brought that up. This is very essential. If the father has had a lot of mishaps in his life, if the father has suffered a lot of insecurities in his life, when you love the child, it's automatic that you don't wish this to happen to the child, because you think, well, this is life. This is bound to happen. And so you keep visualizing all these awful things that could happen to the child, and you worry all the time. You know, he's late from school, or something's happened. You see, all the time you're imagining these things because you relate it. You see what I mean? But so to experience fear has nothing to do with the imagination of that fear. The fear itself. What is fear right now? You feel a fear right now.
It's a rejection.
The body reacts immediately. Okay, with fear.
It's a contraction.
It's a contraction.
But then what's a contraction?
And what's a contraction?
You're defending against what is, even though it might only be an imagined what is.
Okay, okay.
Extraction of life.
This is good, yes. See, fear itself, okay, and I like it when it's being spelled F-E-A-R, you know, false evidence appearing real. A fear can never be real. Hear this, please. This is very important. A fear can never be real. Why? Feel it out, feel it out. Remember, use the heart now. Don't think about it, because if you think about it, we lost it already. Feel it now. I'm feeling fear. It has to do with past or future.
There's
It's not
nothing
in the
to
now.
fear.
No, it cannot be now. Fear can never be now. It's not possible.
No.
And this is why to look at the fear, to take a deep breath and bring it to the moment, because the moment you bring it to the moment, the fear is dissipated. You see?
And also, too, could you say that all fear is like the, well, it is the end of the ego, like if you go back all the way.
And there's another beautiful thing too. By facing the fear, every time you face fear, you're actually transcending your ego.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? See, the beautiful thing about the heart is so obvious and the mind doesn't see it. But if you begin to see the obvious, for example, okay, talk about obvious there. The one thing that you carry with you all the time is your body, right? Okay, we're going to talk about the heart now. Now, it's a fact that the body is made up of 100 trillion cells. Okay, that's mind-boggling. Did you know that each cell is as organized as a modern city? The function, the organization, everything in it. This cell knows what to do. Can you imagine the intelligence of a single cell that is invisible to the naked eye? In fact, many physicists said that you can clone a human form from one cell. I mean, that boggles the mind. But let's not overstretch our imagination at this point. I want you to keep listening. So what I'm saying here is that this is, you know, we take the body for granted and we never actually look at the wonder of it, the glory of it. So when you look at the moment and you see the obviousness, you go into your heart. But the mind never looks at the moment, never looks at what is. Now when you say what is right now? You're sitting there, Burt talking, you're exploring. Okay, that's what is right now.
Mind is moving.
Right, that's it. That's what is. No big mystery, nothing. That is the truth of the moment. That is truth. You see? But what happens is that we're always looking for something ephemeral, something illusory, something that it is true that all objectivity that you see around you, all objects have come from subjects, right? Everything has come from nothing. We know that. You see? For example, look at the books. And you take a book and you leave it and you read and you spend time reading it. But did you know that all that came from some person's imagination? You see? Imagination is, can you see it? Oh, you can visualize something, yeah. But it's a nothing, it's an emptiness, you see? And from that comes everything that we experience. Now this is when you're using your heart. You go deep and look at what is. You know, many times I say, in Satsang, I say, learn to see. And people ask me, they say, what do you mean, Burt, by seeing? Because I don't see what you're saying. You know, like, what do you mean see? Well, you see, and this is where we have to use the heart to look at what is. See, the moment you look at the ocean, what is the first thing you see?
The waves.
The waves, the surface. That's all you see, just the surface. And immediately the mind makes up its mind, so, oh, that's the ocean. You see? But the ocean is, my goodness, it could be miles deep. You're only seeing the surface. So the mind always sees the surface, and it judges the surface as the reality of the moment. You see what I mean? You look at a person, you say, I like or I don't like. Immediately you make up your mind. You looked at the surface, and you haven't really looked at what is. And what is this incredible energy, because a human being is an energy appearing. You see, it is life appearing. Okay? Now just listen to that. A human being is life appearing as Jim, appearing as Burt, appearing as Jan. You see? So when you begin to open your heart, it's so easy to do. Just look at what is by going deep. You see what I mean? Because whatever you see, you always see the surface. You never see the truth of something. You only see the surface. When you look at a human form, you see the body. Immediately you made up your mind what the body is, if you like or don't like. You see it's fat or thin or tall or short, whatever it is, not realizing that these things are relative terms and they are comparisons, because you don't know what tall is unless you have seen shorter people. You see what I mean? Okay, so this is what we have to look so simply in the now, and the moment you begin to look at the now, you wake up. That's what waking up is. Waking up is simply being here in this moment, because this is the only reality. For example, we're talking about reality. And then I say to you, do you know it's a full moon today? And then of course you look up to see if it's a full moon or not. But do you know that the moon only exists as long as you look at it? You know that, right?
What do you mean by that? I don't know that.
Because you're only here. The truth is now. Now is what is. If you went to India and came back and told us all about it, you're assuming that India exists right now. It existed when you were in India. But right now you're not in India. So to you, in truth, if you're totally in your heart, there is no India other than a word or a place you experienced before. But right now, it's only what is. This is a big one. But when you begin to awaken the heart so fully, completely, you begin to see that the now itself is the reality. See, because again, you might say, okay, time and space. For example, you go out and you see some bright star, and you look at the star. And you say, oh, the star exists because I see it. But that star could have died 1,000 years ago. And because it's so far away, it's still reflecting its light. Do you understand? So, things are not what they seem, but when you accept what is, as it actually is, something else happens. You begin to see deeper automatically. You don't have to say, well, I looked at the ocean and I saw only the surface. But there was no need in me to say, oh, there's more than that. But when you start seeing that the moment is all there is, there's only what is. The moment you are totally convinced, you automatically see deeper. You have to feel that, yes.
Well, it's because we're so used to using our mind that even saying, oh, well, I'm only seeing the surface now, I need to see deeper, that's all mental, just mental mush. But by being present, by seeing, actually what we're doing is being with the entirety of what is and knowing we really know nothing about it, and therefore can know so much about it, if that makes any sense.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. As a matter of fact, the more unknowing you are, the more knowing you become. See, that's another paradox of duality. Okay? Yeah. The more innocent you are in the moment, the more open you become to possibilities. But you don't open yourself automatically. The heart opens you automatically. You see, you become so open. Did you know that a child learns more in 1 year than we do in 20 years? Because they're innocent and they're totally open. They might not be asking deep questions, but they're so open to experience. You see? See? And at that point, they're seeing deeper. But the seeing is done by the heart, not the mind. Let's take another one, number 2. Who would like to read this? Okay.
I need my glasses.
Oh, okay. Just here.
It would be great to hear, well, thank you, Burt, for shining light on this. Yes. It would be great to hear more about discerning between mind-based and heart-based decisions, whether there are, in fact, mistakes, right, wrong, good, bad decisions, and how to make decisions when you are in the observer, pure awareness state. If you're just watching everything silently and without judgment, how do you then form a decision? Surely this must be based upon some preference, judgment.
Now, it's very logical what he asked. But this is where we're going to go deep. Okay? I hope that this is going to shake you up a little bit here. Okay. Let me hear your part.
Life is experience, so no matter what you choose, it's your experience to grow.
Okay. So that's when this is very true. The heart itself is so simple that you don't choose. And it chooses for you automatically. Mm-hmm. You'll find that all actions are all coming from the heart. Now, again, I repeat, when I say heart, it is true that you can feel it here. But the heart is God. The heart is life. The heart is the essence itself, the allness. You see? Just like we say, the heart of something, the essence of something. Okay? So the heart is who you are. So when we talk about your heart, that's a misnomer, because there's no such thing as your heart or my heart. There's only heart. You see? We're going right into the very nucleus of what is. Totally. We are totally alive here now. Your pure existence. Now be a pure existence. No past, no future, nothing. You're just seeing what is. Okay? When you see what is, you're looking at the heart of what is. Immediately. And as you begin to trust that, you see, it will guide you in every step of the way. You know, one time someone asked me, they said, Burt, you've been doing this for so many years, what have you learned? And I said, nothing really, except that I've learned to trust my life itself. Now I know that life is intelligent and I can trust it. And that's it. I don't know anything anybody else doesn't know. I don't understand anything but I know that I can trust life. And it's all a matter of trust. That surrender. You see, that surrender to being. Most people don't. They have to make up their minds. They have to decide this. They have to decide that. How, you know. But if you just become still, it happens, because nothing happens by chance. Did you know there are no accidents? One of the great laws of the universe is there are no accidents. Nothing happens by chance. You know, I mean, you're with your wife, you adore her, and then all of a sudden she runs across the street and a car hits her and kills her instantly. You still start to swear at God and swear at life and swear at everybody else and why this happened to you. But did you know that that was also meant to be? It's a hard one, isn't it? But nothing happens by chance. Because you will see that every moment you are throwing thoughts. You are thinking thoughts, you're feeling thoughts, you're judging whatever is going on. Every activity that you're sending out into the universe is like reaching out the antenna of your environment and returning back to you. So many people say, I am so depressed, I hate life, I hate everybody, you know, this is terrible, so many things are happening to me all the time. And then just look at their mind and the way they think. How else could it be? You see, you are creating all the time. Some people blame God. God took my child. God, punishing God. God doesn't take or doesn't leave. God is love itself. And when we begin to understand that we are creating this energy that's constantly creating waves all the time, and these waves are, whether so-called good, so-called bad, are happening because that's exactly what we need to learn. But what if you reach a point where you trust life, that whatever is happening, oh, that doesn't mean, my gosh, your wife just got killed, you don't feel bad? Of course you do, my God. If you don't cry your eyes out, if you don't get depressed and angry at that moment, you're not even human. Okay? So that's only natural, but at the same time, down deep inside, there is something that knows, something deeper is at play. You see what I mean? And it is that understanding that is the trust in life itself. When you trust the mind and not trust the heart, that's called spiritual poverty. And such people say they believe in luck, and they believe that they are very unlucky, and bad things are happening to them, and they're always asking why. Do you know why we keep using the word why?
I mean, why isn't a real question. It keeps us off balance. There is no why in one sense. It is.
It is, yeah. So if I ask,
try to put it into a box that can be dissected, and
right,
so then we
so that we have somebody to
control
blame and control it, right? That's right. When you ask, why am I suffering? You see, not only it makes suffering more real to you, but now you want to know why it is happening to you. You see what I mean? But if you ask, what is suffering? You changed it all completely. You remove the why and put what. What is suffering? And now you can look at it, you see, and see it more. That suffering does not really exist per se. It exists in the human sense because we fear, and remember what fear is. Fear is a terrible contraction that comes from loss. You're going to lose something. Your life, your health, your money, your car, your teeth. You're going to lose something. And when you fear loss, that's called fear. But nothing happens by chance. The reason I'm pausing, because if we could just feel this, that we can trust life completely, we can open ourselves completely, and that's why in history there have been very, very few totally great people. Ramana Maharshi and St. Francis of Assisi, for example, he was so surrendered, so beautiful. You know, so such great people. They totally trusted life. And because they trusted life, then there was nothing they needed to understand. They needed to know. It was right there, happening.
So they trusted life because they were life.
Because they are life.
And
life is intelligent.
Yeah.
Life always gives you what you gave it, what you're focusing on. You cannot blame anything or anyone for whatever is happening to you because you created it. You see? No one is punishing you. Did you know, when I was a kid, they used to tell me, God will punish you. And I began to hate God and fear God. And it doesn't happen until you begin to see that God is love itself. Unconditional love. Complete love. And when you trust that, you'll find that that love is everywhere. Just like every cell in your body knows what to do. Every breath knows what to do. Everything is orchestrated according to what is. You see? And that very seeing brings you to the heart. And all the questions, the thousands of questions that you had asked will fall away. Let's read another one.
Bert?
Yeah.
Just the thought of this statement of everything happens for a reason can be misinterpreted by the mind to think, therefore, I must discover that reason so I can control it.
That's right.
And so the very thing that could be freedom becomes the cage. So in some ways, knowing the reason at some point becomes irrelevant, accepting
Right.
as it is, as opposed to, I want to figure this out so it doesn't happen again, that's for sure.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, so that's,
Right.
you know.
That's
then we're
so
back
true.
in that.
See, that's why we're laughing, because it's so real. That's what the mind does.
Yeah.
That's right. I want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And of course, it happens again. It's inevitable, right? Okay. Would you like to read this one? Just
Just a party circle?
yeah.
I find it so hard making decisions in life and would find it so much easier if Spirit would just guide me to the easiest path in life instead of my costly and time-consuming decisions in life.
Okay. Let's see what he's asking there, because it's a common one too. Oh, won't it be easy if I can just trust my heart and it tells me exactly what to do all the time? But it does. We just don't listen, isn't it? So let's discuss more what he's really asking.
Well, there's such a language these days too. You hear so many people saying exactly that about Spirit this and guided me here and guided me there. I mean, it's such a word of the day kind of thing almost, instead of
that's just another.
wholesome.
That's a game. Yeah.
So
Most of the time.
even waiting for Spirit to
Yeah.
dictate what should be done is kind of
Yeah.
an odd thing.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Unless we totally understand. You see, I call it Holy Spirit, but to me it's a very tangible thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I talk to it just like I would talk to anybody. But it doesn't mean that there's someone listening. It means that I'm communicating because I'm feeling there's an energy that is very, very real. What happens in time, you see, we are very objectified people. And we make everything into an object, completely. And although that in itself is not wrong, because you know, the whole world is an object. It's all objects. But if you study matter itself, what is matter? Did you know that scientists will tell you, physicists will tell you, there's no such thing as matter? Almost you can tell like it's solidified energy. You see? Molecular structure that has become, you know, so dense to our senses. So what we call object, which to us is real, we begin to live. And that's why there was a time when we lived in the third dimension. The third dimension was totally solid. Totally. Something was only real as long as it had weight, height, depth, and width. Right. And so to us that was real. Objects. And then we moved into the fourth dimension. The Second World War was all third dimension, you see. So very few people, so many people were dying, my goodness, from, for example, Hitler, what he did, you know. And mass murders. But although even at that point there was never the deep interest to find what death is and what is actually happening. See what I mean? So in the third dimension, everything is so objective, everything is so real that the mind makes it reality. And you cannot go beyond it. The fourth dimension, then we became aware more of time and more of consciousness, more of emotions. You see, that's when people were getting in touch with their feelings, more therapists came into being. And now we're moving into also the fifth dimension too, which now there are many spiritual teachers. And it's getting more and more and more and more, and more people are realizing the truth. But what is the truth? That the object is really subject itself. See, first there is only the subject, which was nothingness, emptiness, or what we call God essence. And then there was the explosion, and then humanity came into being, so then we can call it, you know, material form came into being, and that became very real. But now we're completing the circle. And now we have learned that the object is really subject. Are you with me so far? You know what I mean by when I say the object? Every object that you can point to is all energy. Therefore, it is subject. Okay? When you come to the point, evolved enough to realize that there is only subject, then you begin to see that everything, life itself, the space itself, can talk to you. It's alive. Did you know that in this room there are billions of sound waves? If you bring a radio here, a sophisticated radio, you can tune into Germany or other places around the world. You see, even though the windows are closed. You see, all the sound is here. You can go on the cell phone, talk to somebody 100 miles away. And they talk to you as if the sound, because the sound is here. Everything is here, everything is now. You go on Skype, you know, I was talking to someone, and it was the day before or the day after, doesn't matter. And so we have to synchronize the time, the Pacific time, etc., etc. But the point is that as we are talking, everything is happening now and is very real now. But it's defying time and space. You see? So what is happening now, even with technology, that we are moving into more subjectivity. We're moving into the ephemeral, that which is space itself, the nothingness itself is everything. So that's when we begin to understand that, yeah, spirit is everything. But you're right, many people say, oh, spirit talk to me. Yeah, well, we play that holy game, right? But the truth is that when you listen to your heart, it is the spirit talking. But everything is talking to you. Everything. Everything talks to you. Just like the woman that came from out of town to visit me, and we went over to Jericho. It was summer. And she said, Burt, teach me about witnessing. And I said, I said, I don't know where to begin, because witnessing is awareness, but it is something that you have to look without mind. And when you look without mind, then you see what is, what truly is. And she said, well, can you tell me how? I said, oh, there's a tree right here. You know, we were at Jericho, and I said, I'm going to go to the water and put my feet in the water. I'm feeling very hot, and I'll be right back. Just said, sit there. I said, but don't make up your mind that it's a tree, because if you call it a tree, that's a label. You see what I mean? Don't call it anything, just look. And she kept looking at the tree, witnessing the tree. Well, when I got back, and this is the truth, it's so beautiful, she was radiant. She was all aglow. She was incredible. And I didn't even want to stop her from just looking at this tree, you know. She was in total euphoria. And I said, you look like you saw something very special. She said, oh, Burt, she said, the tree talked to me. She said, I saw everything. She said, I transcended time and space, and she couldn't stop. And she wrote me back. She said that experience actually awakened her to the moment, to what we take for granted. We can see it as it actually is when we don't objectify it. And then when you don't objectify it, you begin to see it as it actually is. Pure essence, pure energy. It is life itself. And life is eternal. Life had no beginning, no end. And you are that, you see? So the heart is life itself. Okay, so how is this one answered then? When he's saying, which one was it?
Wait, he's almost thinking that the answer is going to come from outside.
That's very good.
From spirit outside.
From spirit, yeah. I'm hoping that spirit will tell me what to do and will guide me.
Instead of trusting the wholeness that he is.
Exactly, that was beautiful. He's thinking that the spirit is outside guiding him. He's going to guide him. In truth, yes. But you see, there is no spirit per se, because we talk about spirit, which means it's nothingness, emptiness. You see? So what we call spirit is you, the I am of you. There is nothing separate. There's nothing that is, you see, there's only you. That's so whatever is happening to you, you created it. You are the creator of your life. You see? Yeah.
And it's also like the best you can be in that moment. Which
Yes.
is where
And each moment that you can stop and go beyond mind, just but to be at the moment, that moment you are in the perfection of your being. Yeah.
Burt, could you talk a bit about if that person would have any intention? Does he have to intend anything?
Intention manifests. Like I said, we're all creators. And so if you have an intention, which means that intention is very important to you, it's very real to you, it's motivating you, then that intention will materialize. Because that's how a book materialized to an author. You see, he created it out of nothing, just imagination. He sat down and started to write his feelings down, and blah, blah, blah. Before you know it, it was printed, became an object. So intention does the same thing. Okay?
Would that apply to awareness? Intend to be aware?
No, it's not a bad question. Right now I'm finding flaws in it though. See, awareness is, intention is a movement. Intention.
But if you don't have clear seeing...
Like a choice, was that?
If you don't have clear seeing, wouldn't that intention maybe help? Like he has to do... Does he have to do anything?
See, the thing is, if my intention is to become more aware, then I'm placing awareness in terms of something rather than the being itself. So in my mind, I've created a structure of how I'm going to be. So the result will always be, the intention will only bring how you pictured it in your mind to be. You see? So as long as you have a picture of how the intention wants something to be, the intention will bring that picture to fruition, because that's the nature of creativity. That's the creation of objectivity. But to make awareness into an object is really absurd, because awareness is who you are. Right now, what are you right now?
Looking.
Looking, being. That's awareness. Now take away awareness. What's left?
It's always.
Nothing. There's not even a body, nothing. There's only awareness. Awareness is all that there is. Awareness is God, really. Awareness is the eternal, the unchanging, the undying, the timeless. The heart. The heart, the source. That's what awareness is. Yeah.
I'm just thinking on that intention. Intention can be an attempted shortcut to trusting what is, in that there's some control there, and it gives an impetus, and it doesn't trust that nothingness, that from nothingness life creates. It says, I need a focus to create, and that's true to a degree, but you cannot create heaven. You can only create stairways that go a quarter way up, or
Right.
There is a quantum leap there that intention cannot do, because it's not a doing, and we're hooked on doing.
Hooked on doing. And this is what the trust in life is. Even intention is no longer used, because what I want is whatever God is. What is going to teach me. You see what I mean? And so I move with each moment as it is, and by moving with it, and if I don't like it and it makes me upset, then I need to look at why it's so upsetting. You see what I mean? That doesn't mean I'm bad, but it's teaching me something very precious, something that is not resonating with the heart. It means I have created something that now has brought pain. The pain is not bad. There's nothing that's bad, really. Okay? It is what is that I need to learn from. You see? And anything painful can be a great teacher, but avoid it for a moment. Run away from pain for a moment. Take a drug to stop the pain, and I'm talking about emotional pain. You see? What happens?
It creates its reality.
It creates its reality. It becomes
ghost in the closet, all that.
And it keeps repeating over and over and over again. Right. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm wondering here right now, like, life is just such an experience with yourself, really.
Right.
It's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's
Experiencing yourself.
Know thyself, really.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. All your learning is about you, because as you learn about yourself, you're learning about everybody else, because we're all one.
Yeah.
Just different forms.
See, even that, I find that so hard to believe sometimes. Like, everybody's like that,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. And when we're talking, we're not talking about just you here. We're talking for thousands of people that are going to be watching this video. It all applies to you, everything that we have said. Because nobody is an island. It's all holographic. It's all oneness. You see? Yeah. So awareness created consciousness out of itself, and everything that you see, everything that is happening is consciousness. And consciousness is constantly creating out of itself. Constantly, constantly, constantly.
So then synchronicity is not really, it's just an expression of that. I mean, it's just,
When you move with that, when you move in trust, then synchronicity happens. Okay? And it was Carl Jung, I think, who came with it for Sir Einstein. I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. Hmm?
I think it was Jung.
Jung,
Yeah.
wasn't yes, I think so, yeah. And synchronicity is a beautiful way of understanding that the moment you are aligned vertically with what is, okay, then everything moves in accordance to bring you where you need to be. You see, you don't need to worry about anything. Some people says, but I don't know what I want. There's no such thing. There's always something you love, but it might not be expressing at the moment. But if you trust each moment to be the love that you are, then it starts, all of a sudden, something takes over. You
Well,
see?
it's like the vibrations of what you are.
Yeah, it's a vibration of what you are. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's see, do you like these questions too? Because,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice.
yeah.
They're everybody.
Oh, this is very good. Yeah, just could you, Boris, read it loud? Just the
Yes.
This is a very, very intellectual question here. So, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. Okay.
But I have one question. You say the universe is love, that we are love, etc. Why would a universe of love set up the world so that 95% of the population remain asleep? You may say that life provides suffering to people so that they may wake up to the truth. But for some, suffering isn't enough no matter how much they suffer. We may say to such people, wake up already. But in a deep sense, it's not their fault for not waking up. Better yet, why wouldn't a universe of love have everyone be awake from the beginning, free from suffering?
Because Eve tempted Adam with the darn apple.
Feel it out, what he said, because it's very logical, you know. Many people would agree with him.
But it's still very making the world real.
Mm-hmm. That's right. The first
And
thing
when you
is
do that,
make-
you need to try and understand what's actually going on. But you can't on that level.
If everyone was enlightened, there wouldn't really be relating, would there?
No, not really. Not in the sense that we do it.
If everyone's one, then
There'll be
you don't relate.
relationship, but not in the sense that we know relationship to be as. You see, because we reach a point where you feel what another feels. You are what another person is. You see, so it's again we go back to everything is holographic, everything is one. And if everything is one, when you are in a relationship, you're not one with that person, but you start feeling one when you start to feel the love, okay? Then you have things in common, you have interests, you have agreements, beliefs, which are common. But if you awaken to the point where you're both fully enlightened, where is the relationship?
Wouldn't be much.
Now, when you
Well,
say wouldn't be
well,
much, let's understand that, because some people were enlightened together and they had an incredible.
Well, it just is that it takes away the illusion of duality. A relationship tends to be based on that illusion. And so, not so being one does not mean that you can't drink the milk of awe together.
Right.
But you are being fed by the same source. Whether it comes through there or here becomes immaterial. It is just life. It is enjoying the juice of life.
Right.
It is not me enjoying you because I happen to like your personality
Right.
and all those other dance processes that go on.
Uh-huh.
So there is no two. There never was two.
No, there was never two.
But it was a useful game.
Yeah, right. Yeah. See, that's a hard one for the mind, because some people say, well, okay, a lot of people now are reincarnating, that the population is increasing. Where did they come from? You see? Where did the extra people come from?
It's like a trick.
No, feel it out, please, because if we really look, we're talking about oneness here, and the world is not real. So when we started out, maybe the population was 500 million people. Now we are 7 billion. So where are all these coming from?
Infinite possibilities.
Okay, okay.
Infinite.
Infinite.
But you see, when life was created, the Big Bang, wasn't everyone created all at once? Hmm?
Was there one mind before all creation?
Yes, there was one universal mind before all creation, and then it split into
Billion.
Zillion.
zillions, right,
Zillion.
of particles, right.
So,
So are there really numbers?
no, I was just going to say there are, yeah. I guess I was just thinking about the physicalness of the earth is forever, like matter is forever growing, like whether it be
Yeah.
plant or like just the
Yeah,
cells.
don't
are
confuse
continually-
world with earth.
Yeah, I mean
Okay,
earth.
the world is all mind. It's a dream. The earth, the plants, everything that's it's something entirely different. Yeah, the earth itself is consciousness. It is evolving. It is growing. It is expanding. It's called Gaia. You see, the earth itself is very beautiful. It has heart. You see, it understands. No matter what we did with the nuclear testing, and many times it didn't punish us by sending storms and a tsunami, creating all these, but sometimes we unbalance almost nature itself, you see. So so anyway, but the world, when we talk about the world, people think of the earth. No, the world is the mind. It's a dream. There is no world.
So then there are no people.
Well, the earth is like when we talk about people, but there are no people in truth. No, there's only I am. Yeah.
It's like that wonderful song. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is,
That's right.
that whole...
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And Zen, they put it very beautifully. Yeah. Yeah.
Burt, would you say world is reality?
Is reality. Is reality itself. That which is. You see? But you see, when we talk about subject and object, okay, we seem to be creating a duality there. But in truth, there is subject and object are one thing. See, there's nothing, we do not separate at all. There is no separation in anything. See, this is where the mind becomes confused, because the mind thinks in terms of fragmentation, separation. It cannot think without separation. But the heart, see, when we talk like this, it's the heart speaking, and that's why it's so beautiful, satsang, because when you start talking from the heart, then you're no longer trying to figure it out logically with the mind. And then you come to a point where everything is. It's appearing like this for a moment, and then it shifts, but it is, though. It is.
Just
It's
that
what
we
is.
take it
Was that?
seriously. It's just that we take it seriously.
Yeah, because we don't understand. Because there is a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end to everything. So when we reach the end, it's, oh, it's finished, it died, you see? But nothing dies. Nothing dies, because we're not seeing the big picture. We're not seeing the whole picture. See? Nothing, everything is going on all the time. Everything is it's just energy, vibration, frequency. It's a dance, you know. Nothing is real, and because nothing is real, then everything is real. See, that is the, you know,
Paradox.
the paradox, yeah.
And it seems like all the, you know, the occurrences in life, whether it be the confusions, are bringing us back to that
Yeah,
understanding all the time.
that's right. All the confusions and all the disturbances and all the fears and all the relationship breakups that you're all following and all the letters that I keep getting every time, you need what is happening, not only because you have created it through your conditioned love, and all love is conditioned, which is human. Unconditional love is something that awakens with enlightenment, you see? So, so everything that is happening is the grist for the mill. It is your lesson. It is the beauty of the lessons. When people says, I don't know what to learn, I don't know what my next step is. Your next step is your next fear. You know, is your anxiety, your limitation. Stop for a moment and look at it and see how it's all imagination, all of it. You know, people want techniques of how to deal with fear. Why do you need a technique? Well, of course I say take a deep breath and that's so that you can be still and look at it. But in truth, you don't need to do anything. A fear is the illusion of the moment.
From past creation.
From past creation. Yes, and it keeps on multiplying until you look at it and see nothing. That's called forgiveness.
If we have compassion for ourselves in that state, it gives us a back door to the love that was always there, and therefore holds it in a different light.
Yes.
And that's a useful one, especially for the West that has a driving thing. I'm going to get through this fear if it kills me. It's me or the fear. You're dead.
You're dead. Because you're still making it real too, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, the mind wants to
So you
compete,
have
to compare, to weigh. You see, the heart,
But by-
nothing, just what is. See, when this woman asked me, she said, Burt, what is witnessing? I never realized she was ready for witnessing. See, we cannot judge what a person is like. I mean, I was in love with her when she told me what she saw on the tree. I thought, oh my God, she has to go out of town now. I want to stay with her, you know? Like, wow, she's so intelligent, so ripe. And it's so rare to find, you see? So that's what witnessing is. Witnessing is to be able to look without mind, without comparison, without judgment, without labeling, and see what is as is, and that's what is at the moment. And then as you keep on with what is, and you trust that what is, it automatically takes you to your next step.
Bert, what you're explaining to, is that just going from one dimension to the other? Like right
Yeah.
here, right now?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. Well, what is the dimension?
Awareness.
It's seeing deeper. Different levels of consciousness. Yeah. 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 Many people now are entering very deep consciousness. And I can also see from letters, because I'm always reading letters that are, you know, that are mind. But many people write me heart emails and they bring tears to my eyes. It's so beautiful, yeah. People
Did we
are
answer?
waking up.
Did we answer that guy?
Hmm?
Did we answer that?
Oh,
person?
did we answer?
I don't know if I did or not.
Yeah. Better yet, why wouldn't the universe of love have everyone wake from the beginning, free from suffering?
It says that love will look like this.
That's right.
And love has so many faces, mud on it, scars on it, it's all of that,
all of it.
everything. But we have a concept of love. Love is all smoochy-woochy, and anything that isn't
Those are levels,
smoochy-woochy
yeah.
is not love. So, you know, this is love.
Yeah, everything
this
is love.
is love.
The best answer to give when somebody asks what is love says, what is not love?
Yeah, that's
You see? Yeah.
so that concept of, because when a child cries, as an example, it, depending upon where your heart is,
That's right.
it can be music of the spheres.
Right. Instead of annoying.
Yes.
Right.
And
That's what love makes all the difference.
yeah.
That's right.
So it sounds then that love is what keeps that 95% of people away from growing forward.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
if
love,
you're afraid of
love is frightening to the average person. And thank you, my goodness, you're wonderful. Yeah. See, the 95% of the people don't know love. Love is something that they own, something that they possess,
Or it represents.
see,
here.
or represents to
That's
them.
a
You
big
see,
one.
but love itself is the child learning to walk and falls many times until it learns to walk. You see, and he's not seeing this. He's seeing that love is everybody is born with love. Love is taking care of us. But it's coming in the way that we give ourselves the lessons we need to learn. Nobody is punishing us, nobody is making us suffer. We simply, some people are ripe, some people aren't. When this girl looked at the tree and my gosh, she took so much out of it, I became like a student to her, you know. I told her, please tell me how you felt and what went on. And she was all aglow because for one moment she saw clearly. You see, she witnessed. So anyway, this we are born in love. We are love, but we don't wake up to it because it scares the living daylights out of ego. Because love means there is no you. There is only love acting as you. Okay, and I think we'll end it.
So when you're
We'll end it
looking for
there.
love, you're just not there.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
And that's rejection right there.
that's rejection.
Wow.
Yeah. You cannot look for love. You can only be love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.